I have the right, ensuring election rights of the disabled citizens. The Constitution of the Russian Federation and the Federal Law Number 63 on basic guarantees of electoral rights and the right of citizens of the Russian Federation to participate in a referendum ensure equal rights and freedoms of all citizens regardless of their gender, race, ethnic origin, language, property status, or their official position, domicile, religious beliefs, opinions, membership in public associations, and other circumstances. According to the Constitution of the Russian Federation, equality is applied to election rights of all Russian citizens, including those who might have difficulties in carrying out their rights on their own. Over 100 million Russian citizens are entitled to take part in elections today. 1 of 10 citizens is disabled. It's one of the most important missions of election administrators to ensure the election process is accessible to all citizens.
Еще никто не придумал общего термина, как называть людей.
No one has invented a term describing those people who have problems with vision, movement, or other health problems. At the beginning of the development of the democratic Russia, a term was borrowed by our legislation from the West, persons with limited capabilities. I'm against this term, as all our activities in ensuring election rights are directed to providing conditions so that such individuals would not be limited in any capability, or so that they could vote where they please, at home or at a specially equipped polling station. Our election legislation is probably the only one that does not separate voters in any categories. That's why I'm very pleased that this jointly created video shows equal opportunities for all voters.
Наше законодательство в области выборов, пожалуй, единственное, которое не разделяет избирателей ни на какие категории. Поэтому я очень рад, что этот фильм сделан нами совместно и показывает, что у всех избирателей равные возможности.
The CEC recommendations for ensuring election rights of voters with limited physical capabilities is the first training manual in Russia that includes all the provisions and requirements of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. Our country signed this international document on September the 24th, 2008. The Convention's 50 articles describe the civil and political rights of the disabled, including the right to elect representatives. Other documents, such as the Convention on Standards of Democratic Elections, Election Rights, and Freedoms in the Commonwealth of Independent States, recommendations for international observers, participants of the Commonwealth of Independent States in observing elections and referenda were taken into account. The CEC recommendations for ensuring election rights of voters with limited physical capabilities contain instructions on step-by-step activities in administering elections with participation of disabled voters. This manual is based on the actual experience and operation by election commissions in separate regions of the Russian Federation. Some polling stations in Kemerovo have been equipped especially for disabled voters. There are special polling stations among regular ones in the Republic of Mariel, with wheelchair ramp access for the disabled and the braille templates for the blind. Precinct election commissions in Azov have provided opportunity and free access to polling stations for all categories of voters, including the disabled, so that they can vote in person. A special attention was dedicated to the disabled. Mobile ballot boxes were delivered to those who on election day were incapable to come to the polls due to health problems. Those who have practically lost their vision were able to make their choice. This is what is new about the latest voting. Special Braille templates were developed jointly with the Association of the Blind, with information on candidates. 2009 was announced as the year of equal opportunities in Moscow. The main mission was to rid the city environment from the barriers restricting the rights of the disabled. The elections that took place last Sunday allow us to summarize preliminary results in creating carrier-free environment. The disabled who came to the polls were the experts in this project. We are very glad we have an opportunity to come to vote. Everything is organized very well. The machine is handy and has a lift. It's the first time we're going out on our own. We have a very good impression because everything is set up perfectly. The Election Commission, of a subject of the Russian Federation, develops activities to ensure election right of the disabled citizens well in advance in the official announcement of elections. A working group is created with representatives of Social Security bodies, branches of Social Insurance Fund, Pension Fund and public associations of the disabled, and bodies of local self-government. The first task for the Election Commission in ensuring rights of the disabled citizens is to collect information accurate to the maximum degree on the number of physically challenged persons living in their jurisdiction. To gather the necessary information, the Election Commission makes inquiries to the following institutions: Social Security bodies, Social Insurance Fund, Pension Fund, state and municipal indoor centers of social assistance, charity centers and federal public organization, Russian Society of the Disabled, Russian Association of the Blind, Russian Association of the Deaf, Russian Public Organization of Afghan War Disabled Veterans. The information received must provide data on the total number of voters, their actual street address, and contact information. Disabled voters can be divided into three groups: hearing impaired, vision impaired, motion handicapped. The information received must be summarized and forwarded to the lower-level election commissions. Good morning, Dmitry Filipovich. We are checking the data for voting. You are disabled as a wheelchair user entitled to benefits. Can you tell me how you are planning to vote? Do you need our assistance? When gathering information, members of the Election Commission should suggest the following ways of voting: in the polling station, where the voter is on the list; out of polling station, that is at home, or in a nursing home, or in any other polling station with an absentee voting certificate received beforehand. Another task for the Election Commission to solve in ensuring election rights of the disabled is awareness. Information about forthcoming voting and about the progress of the election campaign, lists of voters, and information about each election participant should be delivered to every citizen entitled to vote. When organizing an awareness campaign, members of the Election Commission must take into account communication opportunities of public organizations of the disabled. We have discipline in our organization, and election campaigning in our facilities has a big effect. Our community centers are used for setting up polling stations too.
Поэтому все коллективы наши, большие коллективы и малые коллективы, и работающие, и не работающие, встречаются всегда с избирателями.
Awareness campaign format for the disabled must be aimed at certain category of the disabled and accordingly to be distributed among that category.
Традиционные.
For a person with no vision at all, this format is Braille publications and audio information. It's the modern computer software allowing the vision impaired to get as much information as necessary. Modern software allows use of mobile phones and reads data directly from the phone.
Это, соответственно, дополнительные возможности с помощью и мобильных телефонов, потому что современные программы позволяют тоже пользоваться мобильной связью и брать информацию прямо с телефона.
For the hearing impaired, the election of sources is also limited. They cannot use radio, and when watching television, they prefer shows with subtitles, creeping line, or with sign language. Election Commission should take this into consideration in planning its awareness campaign, in liaising with media, and in preparing campaign clips and feature programs dedicated to elections. Alexander Guzeev was born deaf. This handicap does not keep the young man from living a productive life. Alexander even leads solo in a choir, although he performs in sign language. In his normal life, Alexander does not watch television. However, during election campaigns, he attentively follows everything that is broadcast on television because sign language interpreters and creeping texts appear in election shows.
Особое внимание в этот день уделят избирателям с ограниченными физическими возможностями. Они смогут проголосовать на специальных участках в каждом районе центра.
We are different from the rest of the people because we not always follow what is happening in a show. When we see sign language interpreters or read subtitles, we feel very pleased. We start having interest and we feel like we should come to the polls. For voter awareness campaign for motion handicap, it is necessary to plan delivery of written or audio and video materials allowing the citizens to receive comprehensive information on elections. Special attention should be dedicated to the Internet in awareness campaign. The number of disabled Internet users is growing day by day, allowing data transmission and demonstration of information materials remotely. Internet technologies can be adopted for vision impaired and even the blind. Internet radio transmitting election-related information could be set up for this category of voters. To improve operations in awareness campaign for the disabled, communication must be maintained with respective organizations representing the disabled. Representatives of the All Russia Association of the Blind have been working for years to allow vision impaired and the blind to use computers. Technology already exists to empower those people to operate computers and receive information using the Internet. A computer is equipped with a special voice adapter. The device can recognize and reproduce speech from web pages created with a special technology. The official website of the CEC of Russia has become one of the first to use this technology. Developers should be guided by the Russian federal standard in creating web pages for vision impaired. The standard sets up requirements for accessibility of resources to vision impaired. When such web pages are created on websites of election commissions, it is appropriate to take recommendations of the All Russia Association of the Blind into account. Another group of the disabled that suffers most is the hearing and vision impaired. They need a guide who knows sign language. The All Russia Association of the Blind maintains a register of such people, and the National Association of the Deaf provides guides when necessary. The hearing and vision impaired person perceives the world through sign language, and whatever he or she needs to say should be said through interpreter, and all the issues will be taken care of. Just as before, information stands and associations of the disabled remain an effective tool in awareness campaign for the disabled and their integration in the election process. Such stands may be equipped with different media designed for different categories of the disabled persons. We have over 2,000 local organizations and about 20,000 grassroots level ones. This divergent structure allows us to undertake the awareness mission. Many organizations publish their newspapers. The next mission for the Election Commission to accomplish is to prepare premises for voting. There are several criteria for success. First is the premises selected in the right way. Members of the Election Commission must take into account that polling stations where motion, handicapped, are planning to vote must be located on the first floor and must have easy wheelchair access. Many polling stations are located on second floors. The first thing to note for election commissions and probably for local authorities is that premises for voting should be provided on the ground floor to be accessible to all the Russian citizens. Election Commission should find out before the voting day where each voter will be voting and what kind of assistance he or she might need when voting. Disabled voters may vote at the polling station where he or she is included in the list of voters, or out of precedent, that is at home, nursing home, or residential care home. Voter is entitled to receive an absentee voting certificate to vote at a different polling station. Article 64, paragraph 10 of the Federal Law number 63 on basic guarantees of electoral rights states that a citizen who is not able to sign for the ballot received or to fill in the ballot entitled to assistance by other voter. There are restrictions to this provision. Members of Election Commission, a registered candidate, authorized representative of a candidate, agents representing candidate, and party observers are not entitled to assist voters. The person accompanying the voter presents his or her ID at the polling station, receives a ballot for the voter, and proceeds to the polling booth, assists in filling in the ballot and depositing it in the ballot box. Ilya Viktorovna, have you decided who you want to vote for? Number 3. Let's vote. Psychological moment is important here. If a disabled person showed up to vote, then the other people who are afraid of the cold, frost, slippery road, or who are at their daches must be simply ashamed. Election Commission, assisted by Social Security bodies, may provide special transportation to polling stations to those who need it. To facilitate voting of wheelchair users, special polling booths should be set up at the polling station. They are different from the regular booths because they are wider and have a lower table. Such booths can be easily entered in a wheelchair and there is no need to reach the table. Main requirements for the polling booths, ballot boxes, and especially equipped booths for the disabled are set up by the decision of the Central Election Commission of the Russian Federation on the requirements of polling station voting equipment in elections and referenda in the Russian Federation. Good morning. It's the first time I'm voting today in person. I was told that special booths for wheelchair users have been prepared, so I came to verify that. Comfortable. Lower booth. Comfortable for hands. Special information materials using Braille should be prepared for the vision impaired. Election Commission might provide a special template for individual ballot filling for the vision impaired or blind voter, containing the ballot text in Braille and square perforations where marks should go. Singer Diana Gurskaya never misses elections. Her husband Peter has always helped to get her to the station. He would not only accompany her, but also would read her the information on the candidates and would vote for her. This time, coming to the polling station is different. She didn't need her husband's assistance. The singer was able to get all the necessary information and to vote. Braille template is for the first time today. I'm very happy because I voted myself with my own hands and not someone in my place. This is very important.
И это очень важно. Если человек приходит сам голосовать, он хочет голосовать сам, без помощи сопровождающих и так далее.
Magnifying glass should be placed in a polling booth for convenience of vision impaired. The voter can vote in person using the glass. It is advisable to invite sign language interpreters to the polling stations where hearing impaired or deaf-mute persons vote. Members of the Election Commission may address the organizations representing hearing impaired for the assistance.
За последние годы прошли все-таки
Important changes have happened during the last years in treating the hearing impaired. The most important is that sign language interpreters are engaged on the day of voting to assist hearing impaired when it is necessary to explain what needs to be done and how it needs to be done correctly. This is of prime importance where the hearing impaired live in the areas of compact settlement.
Что правильно сделать или как сделать. И особенно это важно в местах компактного проживания глухих. В Иркутске как раз достаточно широко привлекались сурдопереводчики к участию в работе избирательных комиссий. Вот они принимали активное участие на разных этапах. И на этапе информирования о том, что будет проходить, где будет проходить, как правильно голосовать.
If a hearing impaired voter comes to the polling station when there is no language interpreters, any member of the Election Commission can make himself or herself understood. Few simple hand signs are needed for this.
И если вы просто-напросто, как член избирательной комиссии, к которому пришел...
Suppose you're a member of the Election Commission and a voter comes and shows with a sign that he or she is deaf. If you smile back and say, "Good morning, please have a seat, fill in the ballot, drop the ballot in the box," these are simple signs that any person can do. These are enough to ensure the voting. If you have difficulties, just take a piece of paper and write. A hearing impaired person can read perfectly, will understand, and will reply.
И не пугайтесь, главное, того, что вы не услышите ответ. Есть, конечно, глухие, которые не привыкли говорить голосом, но, как правило, все они говорят. Их прекрасно можно понять при желании.
Disabled voters on the voting day will not be at their place of residence and be unable to come to the polling station where they are included in the list of voters are entitled to vote at any other polling station using absentee voting certificate. Article 62 of the Federal Law No. 63 on Basic Guarantees of Electoral Rights states that disabled voters who on the voting day will not be at their place of residence are entitled to receive absentee voting certificate upon application in person indicating a reason. If a voter is not in a position to receive absentee voting certificate in person, then his or her representative can receive it based on power attorney certified by notary public or by administration of the hospital where the voter is under treatment. The Russian election system is getting perfected day by day. New technologies and new opportunities come to light, but it's the people who are changing the system in the first place. It is the area of responsibility of each member of the Election Commission to show commitment, use training materials, and promote development of the Russian election system. Implementation of the recommendations of this video will allow every disabled voter to actively participate in the political life of the country and to use their inalienable constitutional right to vote.